Hello, and welcome back to the Elite Challenge. Today is Tournament 10 and we have another 50 competitors lined up, ready and raring to go. Last time out, both Fireball and Captain J made it all the way to stage 3, but were once again defeated. Can anyone get to the final stage, and will it be today on the Elite Challenge Tournament 10? And just like any good story, we start from the beginning. Stage 1 kicks off with the new rule books, deciding to add a bit of order to the course. Make your way up and over the 2 hills and make the jump towards the safety platform, where awaits you the wall, an ever-present scourge of newcomers and banana peel for experienced competitors alike. Make it up and over there and you're onto the rolling log. Head onto the cylinder and down the slope, make the jump for the landing platform, and you're greeted by the spinning bridge, the 4 golf balls. They'll move around underneath you, so you've got to be very careful not to let them roll you off. Make it through that and you're greeted with the curtain slider, remaining unchanged after proving lethal in the last tournament. Both high and low paths available to the competitors. Get your way all the way through to the stairs and up towards the grapple climb. Pick up a few grapples, make your way across the structure to the blue platform of safety. And then awaits you Crash Mountain. Head up the stream of balls through whatever means you can. Make your way to the landing platform. And if you can hit the button in less than 130 seconds, you'll be greeted with a ticket to stage 2. So let's see how the competitors fare. And first up is a returning legend of Halo jumping. Drago is back on the Elite Challenge for the first time since Tournament 2. He's been snuck up on by Spenny37 there, wishing him the best of luck, and Drago is off for his 130 seconds and into the rule books, making his way smoothly up the ledges. Drops down, uses the momentum to send it across the gap, and now up the second hill. Makes his way all the way to the top and lands it. And Drago, back in Tournament 2, went out on the first obstacle, so this is his best run since Tournament 1 as things stand. And Drago making his way smoothly up the wall, all the way to the top, down to the platform of safety, and now on towards the rolling log. Gets onto it, starts it rolling. Drago choosing to jump his way down. It's an unusual technique, but it's proving to work very well for Drago, and Drago is back to the safety platform and now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth, and lands it. And now Drago greeted with the curtain slider. First ledge to the second to the third. Cuts the momentum, that's very important. Makes the jump up to the higher ledge. Uses a save jump to get some momentum and starts building it back up again all the way through to the stairs. Drago now up, grabs the grapples. First grapple doesn't go anywhere. Second one, second time's the charm as Drago launches. There's his third grapple. He does have 5 to play with though, so he's going to have to be careful. Drago goes for the safety platform, doesn't make it, and then he gets stuck underneath. Drago, no! And down and out goes Drago is back. And that is a shame. Great to see him back though. Next up is a newcomer. Could be Trento. And could Trento be the one to break the duck for stage 1 today? Well, he's heading up the rule books with some pace. Makes the drop down. Across the gap. Trento now starts to climb the second one. Slips up a little but makes a recovery. Trento now going for the safety platform, but he undershoots. And could be Trento down and out already. Next up, representing the Halo Lounge, this is Rainbows Are Fun. She's very well supported, but is a bit nervous of her ability, so let's see how she goes. First things first though, up the rule books, making every jump count, all the way to the top of the first hill. Rainbow's now dropping down. Jumps across the gap, lands it but slides off, and Rainbows is out. That's a shame. Also representing the Halo Lounge, this is Chubby Nugs, who started to become a more regular in DRL. and he's proving to be getting used to that, so let's see how he fares on the Elite Challenge. And Chubby makes it up the first hill with ease, uses the slide down to build momentum, and starts climbing the second, all the way to the top, and Chubby Nugs up and over, goes for the landing platform, makes it, now he's onto the wall. First peg to the second quite quickly. Oh, and he undershoots the third, clips his feet, and doesn't make it across, and Chubby Nugs down and out. Next up is the most experienced competitor so far this tournament. This is Virus GR42 from Greece, making his 5th appearance on the Elite Challenge. Still chasing his first time onto the 3rd obstacle though, so Virus looking to set a personal best today, being very careful with the drop down. Goes for the jump across but doesn't make the ledge, and Virus down and out on the first obstacle again. Next up is Shaxbird, returning from Tournament 5 for the special 10th edition of the Elite Challenge. Shaxbird onto the rulebook, starts to climb, representing Germany, up and over. He's going to send it from the top, and the momentum carries him off, and Shaxbird in the same fail as Virus and Rainbows. Next up, Bussy666. Heading to the course with gusto and up the rule books. Not the fastest, but he's making every jump count and up to the top. He's going to send it across the gap as well, and he's going to land it. Now Bussy climbing the second hill. Once again, not the fastest, but every jump counting, no mistakes. Bussy now to the safety platform, and now onto the wall. He's had a history of this, he failed it in the last tournament. And he's going out on it again. Bussy down and out. The Flying Dutchman can fly no more. Next up is Avows the Samurai for his 8th appearance on the Elite Challenge. And Avows, certainly with the most jumping experience of anyone, probably besides Drago so far. And he's starting to struggle on the rulebooks a little bit. He makes it all the way up. No, he's starting to get it together. No, he isn't. Undershooting once, twice, thrice. Slips down. Come on, Avows, get it back together. There we go, last jump. No, doesn't make it again. 5th time's the charm. Avows really coming unglued here on the rulebooks, and he slips down again. Trying something different, but he makes it up and over. Makes the drop and the transfer, and Avows now onto the second hill. Needs to start locking in. Avows all the way up to the top, makes it this time. Sends it for the landing platform, makes it. And now onto the wall, and the wall is not the sort of obstacle you want to be attempting, knowing you need to pull time back. Very easy to make a mistake by rushing this, but Avows to the top. No, he's not! And Avows has slipped, and he slipped again! Down and out for Avows the Samurai, and that is a shame. Next up is the host of the returning Ninjas of Halo. This is Sonic Fan 10193. In his brief but successful return to Halo jumping thus far, can he keep that up? And Sonic through the first hill with ease, now up to the top of the second, sends it for the landing platform, makes it. Sonic onto the wall. We've seen this take out a few competitors already today, but Sonic making every jump count, going a bit zigzaggy and doing a spin across the top. We like to see competitors throw a bit of flair in. It means that they're nice and relaxed. And Sonic onto the rolling log has already made it down. Nice and easy. Slows the pace a bit for the spin bridge. First, second, third, all okay. Can the 4th fall right? Yes, he does. Lands it. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge. Takes a moment to line up the second. Straight for the 3rd. Save jumps. Goes for the big skip. Makes it and keeps the momentum going. Sonic Fan along the lower path to the stairs. Now the grapple hook. And he's picked it up. Sailing up the wall. All the way to the ceiling. Now he's going to swing across. Big swing from Sonic. Oh, in fact, almost overshoots it. Has to get a save in there. Makes it. And now we see our first competitor onto Crash Mountain of the day. And he's found a gap. Sonic charging at the balls, jumping across the top, starts to swing at them, punches one out the way, across the next one. gets back to punching, making good progress. Sonic Fan, 30 seconds still on the clock. He's got plenty of time, but the Bulls are gonna start ganging up against him now, and he gets underneath him. Sonic Fan to the platform, and he's celebrating. He deserves it. Hits the button. 20.60 seconds to go. Even throwing in the celebrations, and the flare still clears with a massive amount of time remaining. Way to go, Sonic Fan, and welcome back. Let's see how he'll fare on stage 2. But first we gotta see who, if any, will be able to join him. Next up is Halo Parkour's FF Blazing Wolf 4, who made his first appearance in the last tournament, going out on the rolling log. How will he fare this time around? For his 130 seconds, quickly up the first rulebook, makes the jump across to the second, gets his feet under him and equally quickly up the second, jumps for the landing, nails that as well. Now onto the wall. Going down the right hand side once again, seems to be a very popular route for our competitors. And Blazing Wolf up to the top, following the same path that Sonic just tread. And now onto the rolling log. Sends it off, jumps on it. Can Blazing Wolf get his revenge from the previous tournament? Starts to jump, sends it for the landing platform, and he makes it. This is a personal best now for Blazing Wolf. First ball of the spinning bridge, second, third with ease. Can he do the fourth? Yes, he does. Lands it. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge. Up to the second, sends it for the third. Tries to keep the momentum going, doesn't quite go far enough. Blazing Wolf down and out on the curtain slider. Up next we have another long-time Halo jumping fan. This is Whirlpool 730 making his first appearance on the Elite Challenge. And let's see if his many years of watching these tournaments can prove dividend when he's actually running them. So far not so good, but he makes the ledge and now starts to build a bit of momentum. Whirlpool jumps down, uses the extra speed to make the gap. Starts to climb the second rule book. Makes it after a couple of fails. Then he goes up all the way to the top. Come on, Whirlpool. Big jump here. Lands it. Nice. Now onto the wall. Historically not been kind to newer competitors. So how will Whirlpool fare? He's taking his time to line it up. Make sure he can get the height. Doesn't quite make it. Then he saves it. Whirlpool. Second time's the charm. Goes for height, then the distance. Whirlpool makes it to the second peg. He's got his technique. It's not the fastest, but he's making it work to the third peg. Now going for the fourth. Nicely done. Which way is he going to go for the fifth? Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right? I think he's trying to work that out, lining it up. Does look a bit more difficult to go to the right from there, so I'd expect a left. Yes, to the left. Now Whirlpool, come on, one more jump and you've done it. He's over jumped it, but he saved it on that peg and he slipped. It's all coming apart for Whirlpool, but he's landed it on the lower ledge once again. Now, he's done this before. This is where it went wrong. And he makes it this time, all the way up and over the wall. Can Whirlpool make the jump down? Yes, he does. Now onto the rolling log. Time is very much against him, but it's all about distance for Whirlpool at this point. Gets crouching, starts to jump early. He's bunny hopping it like Drago. And he makes it all the way down. Whirlpool now onto the spinning bridge. First ball. Second is the klaxon sounding. Doesn't make it to the third. Whirlpool crashes out on the spinning bridge. But he'll be happy with that for his newcomer performance. Next up is Jendog, making his second appearance on the Elite Challenge. Ran under the Smoke Tank's name in the previous tournament. And just like Whirlpool, in fact, was a long-time fan before turning to being a competitor. So how will Jendog do on his second outing? Makes it up to the top of the first rulebook. Slides down the back side, now jumps to the second. Jendog also went out on the rolling log in the last tournament, so he's got certainly a mark to beat. Makes it all the way up to the top of the rulebooks, goes for the landing platform, and he's going to undershoot it just like Chubby Nugs. And Jendog down and out. Next up, another competitor who made their debut in the previous tournament. This is Alex Halo, who actually finished as the top newcomer in Tournament 9. So how will the sequel performance be for Alex Halo? He's quickly up the first rulebook. Makes the jump straight to the second. Saves it on the landing. Quickly starts to climb again. And Alex Halo is a little bit slip and slide, but it's very quick so far. Now onto the wall. Heads to the left. Going up in that diagonal. Got to watch out for the overhang. Makes it. And Alex Halo starting to pick the pace up. Makes some progress. Nearly overshoots, but saves it all the way to the top. And lands it 94 seconds and change onto the rolling log. Gets the log moving. Now Alex Halo trying to keep it under control. Going to send it from a long way out. Doesn't quite make it. And Alex Halo down and out on the rolling log. Next up we have Opix Onyx, who just like Alex Halo has been a top newcomer in a previous tournament. Opix failed the curtain slider in both tournaments 7 and 8, so he has a very clear mark to beat. Sets off up. He's over the first rulebook already. Now onto the second. Making his way up ledge to ledge. All the way to the top. Jumps for the landing. Makes it. Now onto the wall. Hasn't shown too much issue with this in the past as Opix. But he overshoots it this time and Opix down and out. That has got to be considered early for him. Up next is the host of the Halotrax Draft Series. This is Brendan. His last appearance on the Elite Challenge was in Tournament 8, where he went out on the curtain slider. And Brendan making quick progress up the first rulebook. Onto the backside, makes the jump to the second. Trying to line it up and then get back moving. Brendan, of course, being a Halo racer, used to moving quite fast and handling things under pressure. So let's see how we can do on foot. Brendan onto the wall. Second peg to the third. And the fourth. Lining up the fifth. And he makes it, doesn't overshoot. One more jump for Brendan. And he does it all the way to the top of the wall. Now down, lands it, and onto the rolling log. Gets the log rolling. Brendan trying to keep it under control. Oh, he's panicking, he's jumping, he's off the back, and Brendan down and out on the rolling log. And that is the rolling log rocking up the second fail in very quick succession. Next up we have Nike 2000. Nike, also a Halo racer. So another competitor from the DRL and Halotrax communities. Starts to climb up the second rulebook. Nike also went out on the rolling log in the previous tournament, so he's looking to do better than that today. He's made a few deep runs, including going out on the triple fire escapes in the past. So Nike looking for his first taste of the Elite Challenge success. And making light work of the wall thus far. Up to the top. Makes the landing. Now onto the rolling log. Gets the log rolling. Gets onto it. And Nike starts to hop. Nike. No, he's rolled off the front as well. And he jumped to try and get to the landing platform and just didn't quite make it. Up next is Squeezu. Squeezu, previously in his career, failed the wall 5 straight tournaments in a row, but since he's managed to break that duck, he's been getting routinely quite far into the stage, going out on the waveform in the previous tournament. And Squeezu up the second rulebook all the way to the top. Big jump for safety and he lands it. Now onto the wall. He's failed this a few times before, but he's got the hang of it in recent tournaments. All the way up to the top. Shoots it as if to say, I'm better than you now. And now he's onto the rolling log. Starts it rolling. Keeps it under control. And save jump. Save jump, very late jump off the log there, but he makes it. And now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth ball. Squeezy to the safety platform. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, second. Big jump for the third. Oh, and he doesn't quite get the height or the distance to go for the next ledges, and he's down and out. Up next is Squeezy's fellow DRL host. This is Spider Case. So which of the DRL hosts will get further? Spider now onto the rulebooks. Not quite taking it with the same speed as Squeezy did, but Spider elected to go in with no practice whatsoever, so he's learning on the fly. Makes the drop down and jump to the second rulebook. Starts to climb once again, all the way up to the top, and lands it. And Spider now greeted with the wall, which is where he failed in the last tournament. Starts to climb, scouting out. He's familiar with the obstacle. And this time Spider up and to the top and over. And Spider is choosing to reset the log. More likely he's just seen a button that he wanted to push and pushed it to see what it did. But Spider Case now onto the rolling log. Running from side to side, he's zigzagging on it. That's a unique strategy, but Spider Case has made it work. Another button he's pushed, and now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second to the third to the fourth, and Spider Case makes it across the spinning bridge. That's past the halfway point. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, second, third ledge, and he does the exact same thing as Squeezoo, but doesn't come up. Doesn't quite make the distance for the skip, and he's down and out as well. Next up is D Mills NY for his 130 seconds. And D Mills has previously gone quite far in the Elite Challenge tournaments, but not today. He sprinted off the top of the first rulebook and just completely missed the ledge, and down and out goes D Mills. Now up next is the first competitor to hit 10 appearances on the Elite Challenge. This is Makofoven from France, electing to run with the sniper rifle. Will that come in handy at all? We'll have to find out. But Makofoven, not really someone who's gotten that far before. He's made it to the third and fourth obstacle, and now he's struggling on the rulebooks. He's slipped back down, but he's made it up this time, up to the top. Jumps for the second, lands it, saves it, sprints back into the wall to counter the momentum, and Makofoven starts to climb again. Third ledge to the fourth, now up to the fifth, and up and over. Makofoven for the landing platform, makes it, and now onto the wall. It's taken him out previously, and Makofoven onto the first peg. Up to the second, and the third, to the fourth. He's overshot and Makofoven can't save it, down and out, and the wall claims another victim. And following Makofoven is his Team Rookie Monsters teammate. This is Creepy Tomcat, also making his 10th appearance on the Elite Challenge. And Creepy Tomcat starts to climb onto the first rulebook, all the way up to the top and over. Trying to line up the big sprint. Sends it, and he doesn't quite make the landing. Creepy Tomcat down and out. And up next we have Scar666 Dead from Australia, heading off onto the rulebooks. Scar climbing to the top of the first rulebook, jumps for the second, makes it, unlike Creepy Tomcat before him. Scar now starting to have to climb. Couple of false starts there, but he makes it on the third attempt. Starts to climb again, halfway up, and now up to the top. Scar nearly really early jumps there and doesn't quite save it, but he makes it, pulls it back, and then second time's a charm, gets to the landing platform but doesn't land on the peg. Shoots straight down the middle and out on the wall. Next up is Coverallis, who in the previous tournament was the only person to fail the first obstacle. And just like Makofoven, running with the sniper rifle, hoping that'll be good fortune for Coverallis today. Never once made it past the second obstacle. But can Coverallis make it through the first one and do better than last time? Second ledge, third, fourth, fifth, up to the top. Now can Coverallis make it to the landing platform? Yes, he can. He's done better than last tournament and better than a number of people in this one already. Now onto the wall. First ledge. Doesn't make the jump up to the second. Coverallis is out once again. Next up we have newcomer. This is Stone White. His 130 seconds begin now onto the rulebooks. Lands on the first ledge. Doesn't quite slide around. And instead of jumping up and over, he's choosing to try and slide around the ledges. Interesting strategy for Stone White. Not as quick, but if it works for him, he's almost made it to the top of the first rulebook. Third time's the charm. No, only slips down. Saves it on a lower ledge, but Stone White, his progress has gone backwards. He's going to have to do that all over again. Makes it to the third ledge. Up to the fourth. Now looking for the fifth. Doesn't make it round the corner. Or on the second time. Trying now to go sideways. Makes it this time. Now Stone White for the second rulebook. Gets a very late jump off the top, but makes it. And now... No, he's slipped down. Saves it on the lower platform once again. Stone White really using up a lot of lives here. Doesn't make it on that attempt either. He's committing to trying to go sideways and almost hook it round the corner. Starts to jump straight at it, makes it the first time. Alters his strategy halfway through the obstacle. And he makes it all the way up to the top. He's going to take out his frustrations on the obstacle before jumping for safety. He's going to make the landing and now onto the wall. Getting a practice jump in first to see if he can get the height. Stone White onto the first peg. Onto the second. Nobody overcorrects and walks off. Stone White down and out. And next up we have TTV Clear Hit, another member of the Halo Lounge community. And he's going to be the 25th competitor on the course today. You see, well supported as somebody on the beach. There's a few people on the spectator platform as well behind us. But Clear Hit up to the top of the second rulebook. Makes the landing. And now onto the wall. First peg for Clear. Second. Oh, but he hits his head and drops straight out. Clear Hit down and out. And next up we have Halo Legend. Also from the Halo Lounge. Making it up to the top of the first rulebook. Sending it for the second. Makes that with ease. Starts to climb. And Halo Legend really picking up the pace. Makes the landing platform. Now onto the wall. First peg. Straight to the second. To the third. To the fourth. Choosing to stick to the left hand side. It's worked out for him though, and Halo Legend becomes the first Halo Lounge member onto the rolling log. Sets the log off rolling down the track. Does a bunny hop. Lands it. Now onto the spin bridge. Chooses to reset the balls. First ball fine, second rolls away, so does the third and the fourth, but Halo Legend makes it across. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, second, third, and he also goes for the skip but doesn't commit, just like Spider Case, just like Squeezoo, and another competitor down and out on the curtain slider. Next up is K-Fly, another member of the group that has been in every single tournament. It's the third competitor to hit 10 tournaments on the Elite Challenge. And K-Fly making his way up across the rulebook, saves it. It's an impressive save on the second rulebook. And now he's going for the landing platform, nails it. K-Fly onto the wall. Starts to climb using the right hand side. And all the way up to the top. And down to the landing platform, now onto the rolling log. This is where K-Fly came unstuck in the last tournament. K-Fly bunny hopping early, bunny hopping all the way down, and doesn't quite make it. K-Fly, another competitor, coming up just short of the log as the log stands on its end there. Up next is competitor 28, this is Hi, I'm Galactic. Galactic also going out on the rolling log in the previous tournament, and looking to do better today. But he's got to get there first, and Galactic up the first rulebook. Slides down the back, crosses to the second, starts to climb yet again. Hi, I'm Galactic up to the top. Sends it for the landing platform, and he's going to land it. Now onto the wall. First peg, second, third, fourth, fifth peg for Galactic. Last one, up and over the top, and Hi, I'm Galactic gets another crack at the rolling log. Gonna shoot it before getting on. Galactic bunny hopping on the way down. Gets a little kiss from the bull there at the end, the log at the end there, and he makes it across. Now onto the spinning bridge. First bull, second, third with ease, fourth with ease. High on Galactic onto the curtain slider. First ledge, saves it. Lines up the second. Straight to the third, doesn't quite make it. Onto the third, comes up a little bit short. High on Galactic, down and out. Next up is Crown Ferret 19, the host of Irish Warrior. Recently hit 30 tournaments of that particular course and put out the Tournament 30 video recently, so go check that out. But now Irish trying his best as a competitor and not a host, all the way up to the top of the second of the rule books, and lands it. Now onto the wall. First peg, second to the third, saves it. Looking for that shorter fourth peg. To the fifth. Up to the sixth peg, and up and over the wall. Irish lands it. Now onto the rolling log. Starts to roll, going sideways. Save jump. Wrangle, lands it. Now on the run to the spinning bridge. Chooses to crouch. Very late jump off the first bull, but everything else in order. And now Irish onto the curtain slider. First ledge to the second. Lines up the third. Save jump. Oh, just about pulls it back. Great recovery there from Irish. Goes up high. Back down low, and Irish starts to pick the pace back up again. He's got over 50 seconds left as he gets to the grapple. Gonna sail for the skies. Irish may be starting to come under a time crunch here, so he's got to get moving. Going for the safety platform, lands it. Across the two umbrellas, now onto Crash Mountain. He went out here in the last tournament, and then back in Tournament 3, he of course failed the jump from the obstacle to the finish platform. And Irish has been dying to get back ever since, and he's going well today though. 20 seconds to go. Irish, it's a game of inches at the moment. He's punching the balls, gets around those group, starts to swing at the next set, and they're starting to inch him backwards. The buzzer's sounding. Irish gets around them. Can he get around these as well? Yes, he does. Irish to the platform, and he makes it, and Irish finally gets back to the finish platform, and he gets his first ever clear on the Elite Challenge. Way to go, Irish. 0.75 of a second in it, but he's the correct side of it. So Irish will be moving on to join Sonic Fan in the second stage. So it's 2 hosts through so far. Let's see if any of the others can get through. But before we get to the host, we have another newcomer, the last of the tournament. This is EST Aaron. Now, how will Aaron fare on the rulebooks? Choosing to go for a run-up along the side. That's certainly a technique we haven't seen before. Now he's lagging, and Aaron down back to the first ledge. Just has to save it again, or else he's going out. Aaron, he's lagging around, he's sliding around. This isn't the best run we've seen in the tournament thus far. And Aaron slides off, down and out goes competitor 30. And up next is Flamosaurus. Flame, the host of Spartan Ninja Warrior, recently had a tournament that he's ran. Now he's running as a competitor as well. Going out previously a few times on Crash Mountain. Can Flame get back to stage 2, which he hasn't been to since tournament 1? So Flame climbing up the second rulebook already. Makes the jump to safety, now onto the wall. First peg, second, to the third. Misses the fourth, panics, Flame jumps, saves it, no he doesn't, down and out, and Flamosaurus, the wall, takes out another big name. And that may worry our next competitor, because Rog has also failed the wall before. Looking not to do that again is the Spartan Sasuke host. Currently in the midst of running the Guardian Cup on his old Halo 5 maps. So that's a cool thing for RPG 445 to focus on, but right now he needs to lock in and get up and over the rulebooks. And sure enough, he makes it, lands it on the platform, and now onto the wall. First peg, second, to the third. to the 4th, to the 5th, Rog giving the obstacle the respect it deserves, up and over. Makes the landing, 95 seconds onto the rolling log. Sends the log off. Starts to roll, Rog keeping it under control. Wrangle, and clears. Now onto the spinning bridge. First bull, to the 2nd, and the 3rd. Now the 4th, and Rog makes that as well. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, 2nd, jumps for the 3rd. Tries to go up high but doesn't quite make it. Rog down and out, and another competitor off on the curtain slider. Next up is Caden Wyatt, 21, looking for his 3rd stage 1 clear in the Elite Challenge. 130 seconds on the clock for Caden. As the camera does a quick zoom in, Caden up and over the first rulebook. Uses some momentum to get to the 2nd. Starts to climb once again, and Caden Wyatt to the top of the 2nd rulebook. Going for the landing platform, and he makes it. Now onto the wall. First peg, 2nd. He's also choosing to stick to the left, but it's working out for Caden. All the way up to the top and over the wall. Lands it, still above 96 seconds, so a good time so far from Caden. Gets the ball rolling. And saves it. Wrangle, 2nd wrangle, 3rd. Gets a nudge, a very helpful nudge there from the rolling log. The log's clearly on Caden's side today. As he goes across the spinning bridge. Lands it. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, to the 2nd, to the 3rd. Saves it, cuts the momentum, goes up high, drops down low, and Caden's still alive. Now starts to pick up the pace towards the end of the obstacle. Makes it. Now up the stairs to the grapple hooks. First grapple into the wall. 2nd grapple going up high. 3rd to the ceiling. Caden flying through the air. Lands it on the platform. First umbrella to the 2nd. And Caden getting another shot at Crash Mountain. Waiting for a gap in the balls. Jumps the first one. 2nd group coming at him. He hops across the top of those with ease. Same again with the 3rd group. Caden now finally countering some resistance. They're pushing him back. He's just running forwards at them. He's zigzagging. 20 seconds to go for Caden. He's trying to get around that right hand side. He's trying to send it from far, but he doesn't make it. And Caden comes up short. Down and out goes Caden Wyatt. Up next we have Junsato Cyan. Looking for his 2nd clear as his 130 seconds are underway. He's recently started his own course, Cyan Ninja Warrior, so keep an eye out for news of that ongoing tournament. But now Cyan climbing the 2nd rulebook as we watch from above all the way to the top. Jumps for safety and lands it. Now onto the wall. Cyan starts to climb all the way up to the top. In fact, he even gets the skip up to the top, cuts a jump out. Now onto the rolling log, where he came unstuck in the last tournament. Cyan starting to save early. Another save. Cyan, no, he touches the track, but he's still alive. That means he can go back, reset the log, and have another go. Of course, you can't touch the track on the rolling log. Gets back to the button for the reset. Cyan, 2nd time's the charm. Knows he's up against it now though, and he falls off early. Cyan, he's getting pushed down the hill by the log. He's got to get back up again and get another reset in. 1 minute left on the clock though. Cyan really has to make this 3rd time count. Gets another reset. Now here we go. Junsato Cyan, 0. Rolling log 2. Can Cyan pull one back? Yes, he does, and he lands it. Cyan now, 40 seconds to go. He's got to really shift. The spinning bridge done easily in just a couple of seconds. Now onto the curtain slider. Really can't afford to take this easy. Cyan has to save jump though to secure that he's going to get it, and gets back moving again. He's going to get to the end of the obstacle. Now up the stairs towards the grapple climb. Can he beat this in time? Jumps for it off the side. Gets the save. He's going up a different way than a lot of people have. The buzzer starts to sound. Can Cyan make it to the landing platform? flies back away though. He saves the fail, only to time out. But Cyan staying dry in this tournament. Now for personal vanity, he's going to try and shoot for the finish. Let's see if he'll make it. Of course, Cyan out of the tournament. This is just to see what he would have accomplished. And he blitzes up Crash Mountain, which probably adds a bit of insult to injury. And hits the button. What a shame for Cyan. But up next is Shadowrun 132 for his 130 seconds. He's also beaten Stage 1 in the past, and another competitor running with a sniper rifle. The previous two haven't had the best of luck, and Shadow, oh no! He was caught in two minds whether to send it or slide, and it just ended up with him in the water. That's a real problem. Next up, Gaming Brando. He's off for his 130 seconds. Brando. Few uncharacteristic slips there at the beginning, but Brando starts to find his rhythm now. Went out on the grapple climb in the last obstacle. Still chasing his first Brandon Seha. And Brando making his way up the rule books. It's not been the smoothest of first obstacles ever for Brando. All the way up to the top now though. Jumps for the landing platform and lands it. Now onto the wall. First peg to the second. To the third. Fourth. Fifth. Sixth. Brando very quickly up the wall. Starting to make time back up. After a poor first obstacle. Sends the log on the move. Keeps it under control, hanging off the front. Save jump, wrangle, lands it. Now straight into the spinning bridge. Brando with just ticked under 70 seconds to go. On to the curtain slider. A quick run through here would pay dividends. Brando lining up the up jump. Now down back to the lower pathway, and Brando across to the end. Just about making it up over that first step. 50 seconds left to go for Brando. About on pace with where Irish was at this point. And Brando, he's using 3 grapples to climb, means he's only got 2 left to swing across. Final grapple for Brando. Lands it. Okay, 32 seconds to go. And Crash Mountain stands between him and a second trip to stage 2. And the bull's instantly pushing Brando back, but he starts to fight back. Pushing the bull up the hill, using it as a blocker. Brando really taking the brunt of these bulls. You can see his shields are depleting. He's just charging at him head first is Brando, but it's working out for him. 10 seconds. The klaxon starts to sound. Brando's going to send it. He's going to make it. And Brando back to stage 2. 4.34 seconds left on the clock. Not the fastest clear time in the world, but that doesn't matter. Gaming Brando gets a second shot at the Elite Challenges Stage 2. Will Spenny get there as well? Spenny 37 at number 7. We saw he was supporting Drago is back earlier. Drago is in the stands cheering on the New Zealander. But Spenny starts to climb up the rulebooks himself, up to the top. Slides down the back, makes the jump across. Now up the second set of ledges, all the way to the top. Jumps for the landing platform and he makes it with ease. Now onto the wall. Spenny starts to climb. 5th peg, goes for a 6th. And up across, chooses the Sonic route, but makes it onto the rolling log. Not the biggest fan of rolling obstacles is Spenny, so this is going to be tough, and he's off the back. Spenny down and out. And his fears of the rolling obstacles came true. Up next is Halo Fan 17. Went out on the curtain slider in the last tournament, chasing his 3rd success on stage 1. Can he do it? We'll find out in about 2 minutes time. Halo Fan across the top of the rulebooks, drops down the back. Now onto the second. 3rd ledge. Sending it for the 4th, slips and slides back down, but gets it back under control. Halo Fan, spot of lag there, but he's still good. 106 seconds onto the wall. Making very quick progress in that diagonal move. A little bit of lag there, but Halo Fan must have been fine for him because he's kept going. Now onto the rolling log. Maybe a bit difficult given the connection in play at the moment. Halo Fan doing alright, but no, he comes up just short, bounces off the platform. And Halo Fan down and out on the rolling log. Next up we have Mighty Max 80. He's returned after missing the previous tournament. He's on an active 3 tournament stage 1 clear streak in tournaments 6, 7 and 8. So can Mighty Max make it 4 appearances on stage 2 in as many tournament participations. Up to the top of the second rulebook, jumps for the landing platform and makes it. Now Mighty Max onto the wall, first peg, second. Up to the third. To the fourth. Another competitor choosing to stick to the left hand side. Squeezes through that gap all the way up to the top, and Mighty Max now onto the rolling log, chooses to reset it. Onto the log, opens fire, gets it moving and is straight off. Mighty Max, you're going to see him, he's going to have to try and get back across to the switch to reset it, but the log's just going to push him off anyway. Oh, that's a shame for Mighty Max. Down and out. Next up is Akaria, who is aiming with this run to tie the stage 1 clear record that currently stands at 7 clears, held by FreeMMO and Fireball. Akaria behind them on 6, so can Akaria draw level? Making his way up the rule books, up to the top of the second one, jumps for the landing platform and he just makes it. Gets a big slide afterwards, now onto the wall. Akaria all the way up to the top, makes the skip as well. Went out on Framed last time, Framed not here in this tournament, so now Akaria onto the rolling log. Wrangles it twice, doesn't get a third, and Akaria, that is 4 competitors in a row now, off on the rolling log. And now it's Gotenks' turn. Gotenks missed tournament 9, but back-to-back clears in tournament 7 and 8, so he's looking to go personally 3 in a row. Up and over the first rulebook, down the back, onto the second. Third ledge. Comes up short of the fourth, second time's the charm though. All the way to the top of the second rulebook, sends it for the landing, makes it, and now onto the wall. First peg, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Gotenks up and over the wall like it's nothing. Now can he break the rolling log curse? Gotenks gets it moving, keeping it under control on the front, and he's just going to drop off the front. Gotenks down and out on the log as well. And the log is really choosing to wipe out a lot of our competitors. Let's see how Smokey Massacre gets on. Smokey cleared stage 1 twice previously, but in the last tournament was brought down by the rolling log, and the log is identical this time around, so Smokey, the previous few competitors showing him it's rough, but now he's already over the rulebooks, onto the wall. Third peg, fourth, fifth, sixth, up and over the wall, lands it, and now Smokey Massacre looking to get revenge from the last tournament, looking to get revenge for the previous 5 competitors, and Smokey's going to join them! Another competitor down at the hands of the rolling log. And now we move on to competitor 43. This is Snoz. And Snoz sets off for his 130 seconds onto the rulebooks. First ledge to the second. Lining up the third. Choosing to zigzag up the first rulebook. Snoz makes it all the way to the top, not blisteringly quickly, but he's also not made a single error there. Snoz now to the second rulebook, making each jump count once again. Third ledge to the fourth and the fifth. Snoz up to the top and over and to the landing. Now onto the wall. First peg. Lines up away from the wall to avoid the overhang. Second peg, third peg, fourth peg, fifth, sixth. Snoz to the top of the wall, off the other side to the landing platform. Now onto the rolling log. Can Snoz break the ongoing curse that the rolling log has? He's a lot further back than many other people. Snoz, save jump, wrangle. Snoz makes it. Beats the rolling log. Now onto the spinning bridge. easily through the first three, through all 4 balls. Now onto the curtain slider. This is where he went out in the last tournament, and Snoz really up against it for time. 50 seconds still on the clock, but we saw how close Irish and Brando were, and they were a good 5 or 6 seconds ahead of Snoz at this point. So he's going to really have to shift it. Snoz, first grapple up. Second grapple up. Off the ceiling. Goes for one more for safety. Snoz into the roof, lands it. First umbrella. Second, 24 seconds to go, and he's greeted with Crash Mountain. Hops straight off the first set of balls. Hops double hop for Snoz. He's absolutely making mincemeat of this obstacle. Less than 10 seconds all the way up to the top. Hits the button, and from being 6 seconds off of Irish and Brando, Snoz goes to 6 seconds ahead, doesn't even hear the buzzer at the end. 10.86 seconds. That was a massive second half of this course from Snoz, as he gets back to stage 2 for the second time in his The Elite Challenge career. Way to go, Snoz. Now, will that inspire the next competitor? As up next is a man who's still choosing to wear a Santa hat in April. This is the worker of Meme. Hopefully he's going to be delivering a performance for the ages, as Meme slides down the second rulebook, makes the jump across up to the top, slips off the last jump, but second time's the charm. Meme now to the platform, lands it, now onto the wall. First ledge, second, got to avoid the overhang, chooses to run into the next ledge before going over it. It's a great way to not overshoot, but certainly looks odd, but Meme makes it with ease. Now onto the rolling log. Meme trying to use the plasma pistol to get it going. That's not proving very effective. Chooses to give it a whack instead. Certainly gets it moving. Often unpredictable, not advised, but Meme going against the safety sticker and makes it across with ease. And easily now through the spinning bridge all the way to the end. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge. Second. Meme for the third ledge. And he slides out, he can't save it. Meme down and out on the curtain slider. Up next is Mr. Spooky Face himself. This is Pedroman618, chasing his 4th clear of his Elite Challenge career. 130 seconds to get to the button at the end for Pedro. And he starts to climb up the rulebooks, all the way to the top of the first one. Slides down the back. Jump into the second. Almost going for the skip there. Doesn't quite make the skip, but nonetheless, all the way up to the top. Takes a moment to line it up, and Pedro lands it. Now onto the wall. Second peg, third peg. Pedro also choosing to squeeze through that gap on the left. He's going to make it all the way up and over. And a very quick time to the far side of the wall. Pedro now onto the rolling log. Hanging onto the front, save jumps, wrangles, makes the landing. Now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth, and Pedro to the landing platform there. Now onto the curtain slider. First ledge, second, big jump to the third, saves it. Pedro goes up high, drops back down, gets back going again, all the way to the end of the obstacle. 64 seconds left on the clock. Pedro gets the grappling hooks and sends it to the sky. First one up, second one up. Now swinging across the ceiling, or bashing into the ceiling. Pedro very late on that 4th grapple. He's got one more left. Can he make it? Almost gets stuck under the blue box just like Drago did, but Pedro makes it out and up. And now he's on to Crash Mountain. 35 seconds or so when he got to the final umbrella, waits for a spot in the traffic, and Pedro halfway up before he even encounters the first ball, stops the next set. Pedro trying to hop, skip and jump over them, making good progress though. He's got a group of 3 that he's stopped. Jumps across the first one, jumps back up again but gets rolled, and Pedro doesn't quite manage to get back on. And Pedroman618, his 4th stage 2 appearance will have to wait. Will Eternal Flame 395s also chasing a 4th clear on stage 1. Eternal went out on the grapple climb in the last tournament. But now, focused on the rulebooks. Eternal, up and along and across the second one. Jumps for the landing platform, makes it. Now onto the wall. Choosing the right hand zigzag all the way up to the top, and another competitor making the skip. Next up, the rolling log. How will Eternal handle it? Bunny hopping along the top of the log as it rolls down the hill. Jumps for safety, now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth ball. Safety platform, now the curtain slider. First ledge to the second. Big jump to the third, cuts the momentum. Eternal Flame going up high, back down low. And absolutely flying through this course, still over 70 seconds left on the clock. Grabs the grappling hook and heads for the skies. First grapple up. Goes for the second. Third one off the roof, very low grapple. Getting a lot of momentum there is Eternal Flame. Now shoots for the landing platform, straight into the wall to cut momentum. And 52 seconds now onto Crash Mountain. Eternal absolutely flying through the course. Up and over the ball there and making good progress on Crash Mountain as well. Starts to get slowed down by the balls now, but pushing through. Eternal jumping through and getting a break through the waterfall there. 29.67. That is a huge clear for Eternal Flame, who is back to stage 2 for the first time since Tournament 4. So it's been a minute. Someone who has been to stage 2 4 times though, this is Hunter Unit 751. The Ninja Warrior of Halo host went out on the U-turn in the last tournament. Has so far failed to get to stage 2 in back-to-back tournaments. Will that change today? He's got 7 obstacles and 130 seconds ahead of him to find that out. And Hunter up to the top of the second rulebook. Jumps for the landing platform. Nails it, and now onto the wall. First peg, second, third, fourth peg, fifth, to the sixth peg, and up and over the top. Lands it. Now how will Hunter get on against the rolling log? It's been absolutely lethal so far today. Will it claim another victim in Hunter? Save jump, wrangle? No, it won't. Hunter to the platform. Now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, to the fourth, to the platform. Now onto the curtain slider. Hunter not slowing down at all. Save jump there, cuts the momentum, goes up high. Choosing to go for the very high route. We haven't actually seen that at all this tournament, but Hunter making it easily. Skipping the steps. Now onto the grapple. Misfire on the first one, gets it on the second time of asking. Hunter, second grapple up. Here's the third. Another very late one, goes straight into the ceiling. Cuts the momentum, but Hunter, 46 seconds now from here to the end. Just got Crash Mountain to beat. And he gets clipped by the first ball and knocked straight out. Hunter couldn't left the jump too late before getting up and over. And that's Super Ninja Jake following him into the water. Will that be the case for Jake's actual run? Both Hunter and Super Ninja Jake went out on the exact same obstacle in the last tournament. So how will Jake fare this time? First up is the rulebooks. Jake climbing up to the top. Down the back. Goes for the skip, doesn't quite make it, but saves it nonetheless. Jake third ledge to the fourth, to the fifth. All the way up to the top. Lands it safely, now onto the wall. Second peg to the third, fourth, to the fifth. Overjumps the sixth, but saves it. Second time of asking, gets up onto the top and over. And now Super Ninja Jake versus the rolling log. Jake gets it rolling, hanging off the front. Save jump, wrangle, lands it. Now onto the spinning bridge. Not proven the most lethal of objects this time around, but Jake keeps that trend alive. Now onto the curtain slider, second ledge. Oh no, Jake doesn't get the momentum. He comes up short of the third by quite a margin, and Super Ninja Jake down and out. Next up we have Fireball ZXZ. He's a 10 on his 10th appearance. He has previously, as we've mentioned, 7 stage 1 clears, which is the current record. Can Fireball go one step further this time? Fireball up to the top of the rulebook, jumps down, lands it, now onto the wall. Very good save there from Fireball, nearly went out on the wall. He's trying to go for speed. In previous tournaments, Fireball yet to take a first place finish, but of the 9 tournaments that we've had so far, he's come runner-up in 5 of them. So you feel it is only a matter of time for Fireball as he clears the rolling log, now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth, to the landing platform, now onto the curtain slider for Fireball. First ledge, second, for the third ledge, goes for the skip but doesn't make it. Fireball out on stage 1, and that is unfortunate after 2 back-to-back stage 3s. Next up is the final competitor to attempt the first stage today, the 3-time first place finisher. This is FreeMMODirect at number 50. And Free all the way up to the top of the first rulebook, across to the second. Starts to climb up the second and makes it across as well. Goes for the landing and he makes it. Free now onto the wall. This shouldn't really give him too much trouble unless he rushes it. Free very comfortable moving fast, has both the stage 1 and 2 speed records on this course. And Free now onto the rolling log, hanging off the front. Save jump, wrangle, lands it. Now onto the spinning bridge. First ball, second, third, fourth. Almost slipped off of each and every one of those there and got a late jump, but Free still alive. Onto the curtain slider, choosing to build up a lot of speed. Went for the skip, made it, and kept going. Free all the way across, 74 seconds at the stairs. And FreeMMODirect now to the sky. First grapple up. Second. Third across, goes for the landing, makes it in 3. Now straight onto the umbrellas with a minute to go. FreeMMODirect waiting for a good gap in the balls. He finds one. Hurdles the first 2. The third one just flees from him, it looks like. Hurdles the next couple. Gets the double hurdle. Gets a triple hurdle for FreeMMODirect. Makes it look easy to the landing platform. 41.85 seconds. FreeMMODirect absolutely crushes yet another The Elite Challenge Stage 1. And for his 8th time standing alone with the Stage 1 clear record now, FreeMMODirect heads to Stage 2. And again, another absolute monster of a time, finishing at the top of the speed leaderboard for today. Followed by Eternal Flame 395. Sonic Fan gets his first clear with 20.6 seconds left on the clock. Snoz beat the buzzer in an incredible run to get his second clear. Gaming Brando also through with 4.34 seconds, and Crown Ferret 19 gets through with 0.75 of a second. The remaining 6 competitors will head onto stage 2, and they'll be greeted by the pyramid scheme. The 3 pyramids with the climbing nubs in them. Get across those and head down the mine shaft, and then up the ledges towards the Olympic rings, which is the first big killer of stage 2. Make your way across the Olympic rings, hop on the Gungoose and onto the slightly modified Mongoose cliffhanger. You can see there, it's now got a little jump in the middle just to spice things up a little. Make your way through that and onto the U-turn, which remains unchanged after taking out a few competitors in the last tournament. Build up some speed across the vehicle ramps with some serious throttle control, and then the French twist awaits you as the gatekeeper to stage 3. Make your way along the twisted runway from one face to the other, and then across to the finish line. Hit the buttons within 90 seconds, and you'll be heading on to stage 3. You haven't experienced off-road like this, well, nor have many of our competitors. As first up, on the Elite Challenge debut, this is Sonic Fan 10193. Of course, being his debut, it's also his stage 2 first appearance. Hasn't experienced this before, so Sonic heading into the unknown. 90 seconds on the clock, and he's away onto the first pyramid. Starts to climb up the first nubs. You can go over them, you can go round the pyramids. doesn't matter which way you do, there's just 3 of them that you've got to get across. Sonic choosing to go up and across the top, makes his way relatively quickly onto the 3rd pyramid, up and over. There's that slight nub on the downward slope to send you into the mine shaft. Down the corridor, up the ledges, first, skips the 2nd, straight to the 3rd, onto the beam. Then the 4th, skips the 5th, 6th, 7th, 2nd beam. Sonic now onto the Olympic rings, keeping the momentum going. Saves it. Knows the time limit is tough for this one. Onto the 3rd, onto the 4th. Gets a late jump off the 4th and overjumps the 5th. Sonic fan down and out, but that is a game debut. Up next is Crown Ferret 19, the only other competitor without Stage 2 experience in this tournament. How will Irish do? He's been hoping to get here for quite a while. 90 seconds on the clock and Irish underway. First peg to the 2nd, saves it. To the 3rd, climbing up, choosing to go around the peak. Irish sticking to the right hand side. Doesn't have to go up and over the top that way, shoots for the 3rd pyramid and he lands it. 2nd nub, 3rd. Shoots for the 4th, makes it. Across the peak, down the slide, makes the jump into the mine shaft. Crown Ferret making his way along the corridor. 4th beam, up to the ledge. Irish choosing not to skip. Going for distance instead of time. Irish tries to skip, but he comes up short and Irish down and out. That proves the danger of taking that skip. Next up is Gaming Brando. This may be his 2nd appearance on Stage 2, but on his previous attempt he went out on the 1st obstacle. Can Brando do better today? 90 seconds on the clock and Gaming Brando onto the pyramid scheme. 2nd nub. Goes for the 3rd. Doesn't make it, saves it. There's the 3rd. Now the 4th. Up onto the peak, down the backside. Sends it for the 2nd pyramid. Has to save jump. Gets it back under control. 2nd peg for Brando. Again, save jumping. Up to the 3rd. Overshoots the 4th, slides off, and he slides down Brando. It's the equivalent of falling down the stairs and hitting your head on every single one, but Brando out on 2.1 again. He's not going to be best pleased about that. But someone who is pleased to be in the tournament still, this is Snoz. His 2nd Stage 2 attempt, 90 seconds on the clock. And he heads into the course. 1st peg to the 2nd. Looking for the 3rd, makes it. Looking for the 4th, makes that as well. Up and over the peak, down the backside. Snoz to the 2nd pyramid. Up to the last peg, stands right on top of the 2nd pyramid. Snoz now carefully on the descent, makes the jump to the 3rd pyramid. Last peg, up and over the top. Snoz slides down the backside, now into the mine shaft. 2nd beam, 3rd beam. Snoz zigzagging along the corridor, now heading up the ledges, choosing to go for the skip. There's that 1st beam. Next ledge for Snoz. He goes for the skip as well and he comes up short just like Irish, doesn't quite manage to save it further down and Snoz crashes out. Up next is Eternal Flame 395. Been to this stage in its previous guise back in tournaments 2, 3 and 4, so this is Eternal's first attempt at the new look Stage 2. 90 seconds on the clock and Eternal underway up the 1st pyramid. And very quickly now, around the side, up to the 2nd one, over the top of the 2nd. Sends it for the 3rd, saves it. Up the 3rd, over the top, slides back down the back, and now into the mine shaft. Making very quick work along the corridor. Up the ledges, onto the 1st beam. 2nd ledge. Goes for the skip, makes it. To the ledge at the back, now the last beam, now onto the Olympic rings that has undone Eternal Flame before. And does again! Eternal off, doesn't quite make it onto that 3rd ring. And before you know it, we're down to our last man standing. This is Framo Direct. He's cleared a Stage 2 3 times in the past. Can he make it 4 today? Free, up and over the first pyramid very quickly. Now onto the second. Up and over that as well. Sends it for the third, lands it. Hops up the peg, slides back down the back, now into the mine shaft. Along the corridor goes Fremo Direct, now climbing his way up the ledges, across the beam, all the way up to the top of the mine shaft, now onto the Olympic rings. Free, keeping a lot of momentum, using the momentum to make the jumps, and he lands it. Now onto the new Mongoose cliffhanger. Free being very careful to getting onto the ledge, makes the little hop. Jumps now for the U-turn, lands it. Free across the bumps, only just about makes it on the U-turn, gets it back under control. Straight into the vehicle ramp, second, third. Makes the landing on the new Mongoose and across the French twist now. Free, 26 seconds still to go. Into the white section. Makes it across, slows it down. Can he get it back under control? All four wheels back on. Fremo Direct now shooting for the finish platform and makes it. 15.38 seconds for Fremo Direct. And that is going to be his fourth stage 2 clear. And Fremo Direct once again heading on to stage 3 and once again heading there alone. How will he fare this time around? There's the proof. Stage 2 clears. One and only name, Fremo Direct, 15.38 seconds, so a strong clear time as well for Free as he takes his fourth first place finish in the Elite Challenge. Now it's just a question of how far he can get. Let's find out. And stage 3 once again remaining unchanged since the last tournament, kicking things off with the Disaster Box. The concrete structure with the ledges on the walls. Make your way up and down through the rising and falling pattern, and then onto the orange cones of the pointy path. Spread out, paying homage to the old pillar path obstacles from back on Halo Reach. Up next is Dangerous, the hanging passageway of fence panels, and if you defeat that, you're greeted with the cliffhanger. Make your way zigzagging up across the wall as it angles towards you, leading you all the way up to the top of the trust fall. Head over the edge, bounce off the... it's not really a ledge, but bounce off the ledge at the bottom to safety, and then the globe grasp. A bunch of flying spheres. Make your way across those and onto the safety platform, leading you to the Barracuda ladder. It's like a salmon ladder, only meaner, named by the worker of Mean back in the day, and it's very much stuck. Next up is the carrot sticks, sticking out from the walls. Make your way across and around the 180-degree corner onto the Doom Gaps, a series of tricky, inconsistently spaced corner jumps. If you defeat those, you make your way onto the Destiny rails, which remain unchanged from the last time Free got here. Make your way up there, and if you do become the first person to the landing platform and hit the button, you'll be heading on to stage 4. Now, can we see Free make even more history? He's been here 3 times before. He's gotten all the way to the Destiny rails previously. Now, can Free improve upon that today? He's already secured first place, so he hasn't got to worry about that. He's just got to worry about getting as far as he can. As Free into the Disaster Box, makes his way up the first climb. First descent, takes the momentum out, save jumps, lands it. Now onto the second climb. First ledge of the second climb. Heading across, heading back. Free to the very top, last ledge. And the second descent, cuts the momentum, gets the save jump, and onto the platform. Now onto the pointy path. He's beaten this before. Second cone. Looking to send it for the third. Save jumps. To the fourth. Save jumps again. Free now, drops down to the fifth. Slides off, save jumps. No, he doesn't. Fremo Direct down and out. And that is going to end the tournament on the pillar path. Fremo Direct there securing yet another first place finish. But as we enter the double-digit era of the Elite Challenge, Who will emerge to become the new front runners, and will anyone make it through to the final stage? Tune in next time to find out as we head forward towards the Elite Challenge Tournament 11. We'll see you then. Goodbye.